All right, here we have yet another project. This one is a Lexus GX470, and right now it kind of just looks like a soccer mom car, but it will look much different once we put some work into it. So I'm just gonna do a quick walk around, show you guys what this car is about, and how cool these things are. If you haven't heard of these before, which if you're watching this, you probably have, they are very capable off-road and are basically just a more luxury version of a 4Runner. This one and the LX470 are basically the Land Cruiser and the 4Runners put into Lexus. So yeah, let's go ahead and do a walk around. Right now, this thing is almost entirely all stock. It does have some work done to it, but nothing to make it more off-road capable or anything like that. Mostly just maintenance stuff. So we'll go ahead and go inside and show you around. First things first, and most important, these fuzzy seat covers. These are straight grandma spec, and I'm gonna be removing them. But they are pretty cool, I guess. And then the real first things first, the most important, is the 4x4. So we have a 4 low and 4 high, and we also have a center differential lock, which turns it from basically all-wheel drive to 4x4 system. And then we have downhill control, height control, and dampening for the suspension. And yeah, that's kind of it for the 4x4 stuff. I'll go ahead, show you like cockpit view, what it looks like. Turn the key on, start it up. So yeah, you can hear my little servo, which is one of the problems, and some other little things wrong with this car, but for now we're just gonna go over what these are kind of all about once this thing stops whining. There we go. So yeah, wood interior. It is a Lexus. You can delete these, but honestly I kind of like the wood with the black interior. If it was the tan interior, then I would probably get rid of it, but I do like this gray black interior. And then it came with this cover to cover up all that stuff. So I'm gonna be changing this to a fake leather, like a synthetic leather cover, just because I think it looks a little bit more clean. Yeah, that's kind of it for this whole area. Everything on this is auto. So we got auto windows, you hit it, come right down. You do have a sunroof. And for the back seats, that's what we got there. And normally this would have 2 more seats in the back that go against the wall and they would lock into the rails back there. Unfortunately, this didn't come with it, but honestly, I'll probably never use them anyway. And yeah, so we'll move back to the outside and kind of just talk about what this is all about and what we're going to be doing with it. So now that we're back onto the outside, the first thing that I'm going to be modding, and I actually already have, is tires. So these tires are just bald, first off, and they're also just not off-road capable at all. So I got some BFG KO2s that I'm going to be putting on the stock wheels. And these stock wheels are not going to be staying for long. The only reason I'm not buying rims at the same time is because my budget won't allow it right now. But I will be selling my WRX, and then I'll be able to afford a bunch of new things for this thing. So once that sells, that's when all the parts are going to start flowing in for this. But first, like I said, the tires, and then we're going to be doing a lift. But if you look under here, you can see that red spring. Now normally right there would be an airbag, and that's what the height control would control, but it was removed at some point. I was checking my history report on Lexus's website, which is really cool. If you have a Lexus, you can look at all the history maintenance done on this or on your Lexus, and I found that they had an airbag fault and they replaced it with springs. So instead of doing the airbag lift, which was what I was planning on doing, I'm going to be putting either a 2-inch slip spring in the back, which I can't tell if it has or not. I'm pretty sure it's lifted at least somewhat, as you can tell the lift from the front to the rear, but I'm not entirely sure. So I might just be leaving the springs alone and doing struts in the front and rear. And the front, I'm going to be doing the 2-inch lift as well, just by replacing that right there, just the shock. And I'll probably use the stock spring. And that's kind of it for the lower end of things. The next up for kind of just maintenance is going to be getting that yellow, oops, on my hand, fogginess out of the headlights. That'll be pretty easy. And then I might also take these to the oven, cut them open and spray them black, which I've seen some people do, and then add halos into them. But that might be later on the line. I have a lot more that I want to do to this thing first. first things first is just going to be getting the yellowness out of there. And then for the bottom, I'm going to be tinting those probably yellow. I have some yellow film. I'm going to see what it looks like. If not, they'll just stay clear. And after all that, I will be doing a complete front bumper change. I have seen some people cut these front bumpers right where that line kind of is, right around there, and it does make these look a lot better. But I do want to get just a complete metal front bumper. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, there's a big paint color difference, so I'm not sure if this was replaced at some point or not. But it might just be because those are so faded. Anyway, this will be getting a new front bumper, a metal one, and I'll be pretty stoked on that. So basically, lift, wheels, tires, and a metal front bumper, and I think this thing will be looking real good. And after that, I probably will be doing more interior mods. They do make a complete Tesla style screen for the nav system. This GX comes with the climate control built into the screen, so replacing it makes it very complicated and expensive. Not so much complicated, but you can't just buy a normal stereo because this is all built in together. So the Tesla screen basically makes this whole thing a screen, but it's kind of glitchy. And there is another one that looks pretty similar to this, and it replaces this with an Android system. And then there's also another system that uses the same exact screen but makes it like CarPlay and all that, but it doesn't change it or make it look any more modern. So I was kind of thinking doing the Android setup with a smaller screen because it doesn't seem to be less glitchy than the Tesla screen. But for the interior, that will probably be it. And then the things that I said for the outside, I do have some polish, so I'm going to be trying to fix this faded clear coat with. You can see the very big difference in that there, and on the other side, which is probably worse, you can see how faded all that is right there. Not great. And I do really like this color. I do have cement gray vinyl wrap that I have been just waiting to use on a car, and I was thinking about using it on this, but honestly, this blue is definitely growing on me. It's like a grayish blue. I think it's called ash blue. And yeah, very nice. I'll go ahead and open up the back. This is where the two seats would normally hold up, right here and there, and then they would lock in the middle right there. But obviously don't have those. And yeah, those are the fuzzy seats. So I think the first stuff we're going to be doing is a full detail. We already did the inside, and I'll go ahead and go over what this thing sounded like before, when I would turn on the climate control. It literally sounded like I was about to take off on a flight. So you could hear that, how miserable that was. And now, if I go ahead and hit climate, it still does make a little noise with the servo, but now that the squirrel or mouse nest is out of there. Used to be a mouse house, hopefully not anymore. After seeing this, I looked around a little more, and you can see there's a little piece of mouse poop. So they did say it sat for a while, so looks like a mouse made it its home. Let's get all this cleaned out and get some gloves. Go ahead and hit medium, high. It sounds like a normal fan, so that I'm much more happy about. And it is quiet. I didn't have to spend any money, I just had to clean it out. So I'm happy with that. And the servos still do make that weird growl, but not as bad as they did before. And they're pretty expensive, so I'm probably just gonna deal with it. One other thing that was wrong, that was very small, but honestly, these little things are like my pet peeve. This would not do this. I'll go ahead and insert what it did before and what was stopping it from doing all of this, and being able to open the DVD player for the back screen right there. So I'll show you what that looked like now. And lastly, we of course had to detail everything on the interior, and now it is time for the outside. So let's go ahead and get home and polish up these faded fenders and get these wheels not so ugly with some new tires, and then polish up these headlights. So I also might paint that grill. So we'll stay tuned on that one. But for now, we're just gonna do all that and see what happens from there. So let's get to work with all that stuff. I actually ended up doing tinting next. So the detail didn't have that big of results or a big before and after, so I didn't even show it. But these were very blue and honestly just kind of boring to me. And I just wanted to change it up. So I got this hexagon tint. Looks a little bit cooler than normal tint in my opinion. It's just from Amazon. It's called Vivid Hexagon Tint, and I think it looks really good. One more mod for the interior is a LED light kit. Now this was like 12 bucks on Amazon. Just search GX470 LED conversion, and yeah, this is 12 bucks, and it comes with I think 18 pieces of or 18 different bulbs to replace all of the stock ones. So here's what it looks like normally, and here's what it looks like after. So I did want to find something warmer like the stock one, but there just isn't an option for it, so I'm just gonna go with the white LED, and everything's gonna look like that. So now we just gotta throw all of these in and then see what it looks like. And that's all it is. You just twist them in there and you're good to go. And this just pops right off with a flathead or whatever you want to use. I actually use my key because I didn't want to go get my flathead, but yeah, just pushes in there and you're all done. For these ones, there's a metal clip behind here, so you can pop the top off, but then there's a metal clip right here. So you want to make sure to pry it from this side so the metal clip doesn't drop into the door panel and you have to pop the door panel off. I just did that myself. So just pry from the side and you'll be good. For this one, I just pried it off from up there, and now I'm just going to take off these little clips and get to the bulb right in the middle. If you don't want to take this whole thing off, there's just two little tabs right there on the bottom. Just pop those off and you can get it off, but I just did it this way because I wanted to. The next up would be the step rail lights, but I'm going to be taking this whole thing off, so I'm just going to leave them. And it also has quite a bit left, so I guess those are just spares. And yeah, we're done with that. On the right here is what our stock wheels look like, and on the left we have our brand new TRD premium wheels. These are on the newer 4Runners, and I wrapped them in BFG KO2's 265 70 R17, and I think they're perfect. They don't make too much noise on the highway, and they're going to do everything I want them to do. So this was the perfect setup for me, and they won't affect mileage too much. And that was pretty much it for this video. We're going to be doing a bunch of other stuff to this. We already have quite a few things lined up, so just stay tuned for the rest, and thank you for watching.